multi-trillion-dollar negotiations, President Biden and Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito is set to resume infrastructure talks. Here now, Larry Kudlow, host of Kudlow, right here on Fox Business. Larry, thank you so much for sticking around. Always a pleasure to see you. Talk about how divided these Democrats are. That's why Joe Biden is playing chat with a Republican, because the Democrats are in disarray, right?
Yeah, that's the irony of the story. You might not know it from the political coverage, but the reality is the congressional Republicans are completely united. And we just had Pat Toomey on this evening. And once again, they've got in the Senate 50 no votes to raise taxes. That's all, real simple. And the House will be the same. So there you have it. Democrats have got big trouble. And Joe Manchin's leading the charge against much of this and other things. You know, he doesn't want to give up the filibuster, does he? And he doesn't want to have nationalized elections either. And he's not alone. Sinema's with him, Tester of Montana, and a lot of House Republicans. House Democrats are still pro-business. So Democrats got a big problem. In fact, this is getting interesting and exciting to me, Dagan. You know why? Because this kind of green workers fantasy that they've been proposing might not happen.
Well, all right, so I'm just going to quote you. Has the market been telling us it wasn't going to happen all along? It's certainly the tax increases. Well,
that's an interesting. One doesn't always know about the market, but the market is not really disturbed or panicked about this. So there's that. I mean, profits drive stocks, as you know. Profits are the mother's milk of stocks. But the market has certainly not panicked, and I like that. I like that very much.
Let me ask you about what is going on just in terms of the infrastructure, all of the kind of spending plans coming from Biden and co. So if you're talking about getting all the Democrats together, there's some that want to lift the cap on the state and local tax deduction. There are some people who don't want that to happen. So you lose some there. You don't do enough on higher tax rates, and you lose those people on the far left. Or if you go too far on tax rates, you lose the moderates. So they're a mess and a morass. There's no way that this gets done unless it's narrow infrastructure just on roads and bridges and maybe airports with Republican support.
Nah, well, yes, that would be from the Environment and Public Works Committee. Look, they had a bipartisan bill reported out a couple of years ago, and that was the earliest of the GOP alternatives, but no income tax increases, user fees, and local bonding. That's the stuff. I don't think Democrats will be satisfied with that. I think at some point, Dagan, the White House and Schumer and Pelosi will take out their rolling pins and just roll the GOP compromise to nothing, and then they'll try to force their way through. And I'm not sure they can do it. That's what they're going to try. They're going to get 151 vote reconciliation. One. I don't believe they can do it. By the way, the Josh Gottheimers of the world, he's not going to get his SALT deduction back, so he's going to oppose this, as will some of 5 or 6 others in the House, Democrats, because they don't want death taxes, they don't want corporate taxes, they don't want to double the capital gains tax. But Dagan, for your radar screen, for your broad-based radar screen, take a look at what Janet Yellen was doing this weekend with the G7 finance ministers, right? So we're giving up our tax sovereignty for a global minimum tax and what looks to be a windfall profits tax that will fall almost entirely on American companies. She's doing that to shield the anti-competitiveness of their own tax policies here at home. They cut deals in Britain this weekend, and then it's going to go to the G20, and it's going to have to be voted on here. Not only do I hate what they're doing, excess profits taxes, that's craziness. That's like the 1970s or something. But also, Dagan, since when do we let these multilateral, global, EU, OECD, they don't set American policy. America should set American policy. I once worked for a guy who believed in that very strongly.
I have said it on this show, and I'm sure I've said it to you. America first is dead. It's America dead last.
Well, for the moment, it's not dead. It's just dead in the Democrat Congress. It's not dead. Take a look at the polls on that.
This global tax, though, there was this thing called Brexit. The British people, that was the heart of it, is having wanting to be empowered and in charge over your own country. Did Janet Yellen miss that?
She completely missed that part. So did some of my good friends in France, by the way, worked with them for years, good people, along on a lot of these issues. Hopefully Boris Johnson will stand tough. But I'm just saying, you know, Ireland's the hero here. Mm-hmm. Ireland and Hungary, Dagan, okay? I think there's some Irish blood inside you. 12.5% corporate tax rate. Don't ever lose that, please, because they will stop this nonsense. Ireland, they are so tough. I once defended their prime minister in the Oval with the president. The president said, well, Kudlow here has some interesting thoughts on tax policy. And I said to the Irish guy, stay with your 12.5%. It's fabulous.
You are fabulous, dear sir. Larry Kudlow.
Take care. Thanks, David.
I'll see you tomorrow. I'm on your show tomorrow.
Wonderful.
So look out. Larry Kudlow, thank you so much.